Hello everyone, you are watching Futures and Forwards with Ravindra Hegde. Friends, today let us deal with trading mechanism in stock futures. Friends, while trading in futures contracts, whether it is stock or futures, both buyers and sellers of the contract have to deposit an initial margin with their brokers based on the value of the contract entered. The rules for calculation of margins to be deposited with the brokers are framed by the stock exchanges. Another major feature regarding the margin requirements for stock as well as index futures is that the margin requirement is continuous. Every business day, the broker will calculate the margin requirement for each position. The investor will be required to post additional margin funds if the account does not meet the minimum margin requirement. The investor can square off his position in the futures contract before expiry or wait till expiry date when the contracts will automatically stand as squared off at the closing price on the expiry date. So square off means if they are if they have purchased, then you have to sell, or if they are in a short sale, then you have to square off in stock market. That's called as square off. Okay. In Indian stock market, the expiry date is the last Thursday of the relevant month to which the future contract belongs. Okay, let me give one example now. See, in stock future contract on ITC stock at 120, both the buyer and seller have a margin requirement of 20% or 2400. If ITC stock goes up to 122, the account of the long contract is credited with 122 into 120. Okay, the difference is 2 there. 122 minus 120, that is the difference 2. So 2 into 100, that gives 200, and the account of the seller is debited by the same 200. That is the difference between 122 and 120, that gives 2, and 2 into 100, that is the lot size, that is 200. This indicates that the investors in futures must be very vigilant. They must keep close track of market movements. Now, this is another important aspect in derivative market known as marking to market. It implies the process of recording the investments in traded securities like shares, debt instruments, etc. at a value which reflects the market value of securities on the reporting date. In the context of derivative trading, the futures contracts are marked to market on periodic or daily basis. Marking to market essentially means that at the end of a trading session, all outstanding contracts are repriced at the settlement price of that session. So it's very important. So marking to market means at the end of a trading session, all outstanding contracts are repriced at the settlement price of that session. Unlike the forward contracts, the future contracts are repriced every day. Any loss or profit resulting from repricing would be debited or credited to the margin account of the broker. It therefore provides an opportunity to calculate the extent of liability on the basis of repricing. So the future contracts provide better risk management measure as compared to forward contracts. Let me give an example. Suppose on first day we take a long position. We are in the position to buy. We take a long position, say at a price of 100 to be matured on 7th day. Now on second day, if the price goes up to 105, there is an upward movement. The contract will be repriced at 105 at the end of the trading session, and profit of 5 will be credited to the account of the buyer. This profit of 5 may be drawn and thus cash flow also increases. So this marking to market will result in three things. One, you will get a cash profit of 5. Second, the existing contract at a price of 100 would stand cancelled. And third, you will receive a new futures contract at 105. So one, you will get a cash profit of rupees 5, that is a gain. Second, the existing contract at a price of 100 would stand cancelled. And finally, you will receive a new futures contract at 105. Now let us talk about the advantages of futures trading versus stock trading. Stock index futures is the most popular financial derivatives over stock futures due to the following reasons. Uh, Friends, please concentrate on all the points here. We have a lot of points here. See, it adds flexibility to one's investment portfolio. Institutional investors and other large equity holders prefer the most this instrument in terms of portfolio hedging purpose. The stock systems do not provide this flexibility and hedging. Clear? It creates the possibility of speculative gains using leverage. Because a relatively small amount of margin money controls a large amount of capital represented in a stock index contract, a small change in the index level might produce a profitable return on one's investment if one is right about the direction of the market. Speculative gains in stock futures are limited, but liabilities are greater. And number 3, 4 and 5 are stock index futures are the most cost efficient hedging device, whereas hedging through individual stock futures is costlier. Stock index futures cannot be easily manipulated, whereas individual stock price can be exploited more easily. One can sell contracts as ready as one buys them, and the amount of margin required is the same. Since stock index futures consists of many securities, so being an average stock is much less volatile than individual stock price. Further, it implies much lower capital adequacy and margin requirements in comparison of individual stock futures. Risk diversification is possible under stock index future than in stock futures. It is also seen that regulatory complexity is much less in the case of stock index futures in comparison to stock futures. It provides hedging or insurance protection for a stock portfolio in a falling market. So these are the some of the advantages of future trading versus stock trading. Friends, now let us talk about uses or advantages of stock index futures. Investors commonly use stock index futures to change the weightings or risk exposure of their investment portfolios. A good example of this is investors who hold equities from two or more countries. Suppose these investors have portfolios invested in 60% in US equities and 40% in Japanese equities and want to increase their systematic risk to the US market and reduce this risk to the Japanese market. What they can do is they can do this by buying US stock index futures contracts in the indexes underlying their holdings and selling Japanese contracts in Nikkei index. This is how they can change the risk exposure of their investment portfolios. Next is quite interesting. Stock index futures also allow investors to separate market timing from market selection decisions. For example, assume the investors see that they have several undesirable stocks but do not know what holdings to buy to replace them. They can sell the unwanted stocks and at the same time buy stock index futures to keep their exposure to the market. They can later sell the futures contracts when they have decided which specific stocks they want to purchase. Investors can also make money from stock index futures through index arbitrage, also referred to as program trading. Basically, arbitrage is the purchase of a security or commodity in one market and the simultaneous sale of an equal product in another market to profit from pricing differences. Investors often use stock index futures to hedge the value of their portfolios, provide hedging or insurance protection for a stock portfolio in a falling market. Stock index futures add flexibility to his portfolio as a hedging and trading instrument. It creates the possibility of speculative gains using leverage. We already seen the example of speculative gain in the earlier videos. Because a relatively small amount of margin money controls a large amount of capital represented in a stock index contract, a small change in the index level might produce a profitable return on one's investment if he or she is right about the market's direction. Maintain one stock portfolio during stock market is corrections. So whenever you have the stock market corrections, they can maintain one's the stock portfolio. One may not need insurance for all the time, but there are certain times when one would like less exposure to stocks. One of the major advantage of future markets in general is that one can sell contracts as readily as he or she can buy them and the amount of margin required is the same. Stock index future give individual the opportunity to get into or get out of a position whenever he or she wants. So there is no binding now. Now let us go ahead and talk about pricing or valuation of forward or future contracts. The difference between the prevailing spot price of an asset, the spot price means the current price asset, and the future price is known as the basis. So basis is equals to spot price minus future price. Basis equals to spot price minus future price. So the difference between spot price and the future price is referred to as basis. In a normal market, the spot price is less than the future price, which includes the full cost of carrying, and accordingly the basis would be negative. So whenever the basis is negative, that indicates the spot price is less than the future price. Such a market in which the basis is decided solely by the cost of carry is known as contango market. Basis can become positive. The spot price can exceed the future price only if there are factors other than the cost of carry to influence the future price. So whenever basis is positive, that indicates spot price is more than the future price. It may be zero also. So in case this happens, then basis becomes positive and the market under such circumstances is termed as backwardation market or inverted market. So in case this happens, basis becomes positive and the market under such circumstances is called as backwardation market or inverted market. Basis will approach zero towards the expiry of the contract. That is, the spot and future prices converge as the date of expiry of the contract approaches. The process of the basis approaching zero is called as convergence. Convergence is the process of the basis approaching zero. The cost of carry model in for futures is as under. It is calculated using the formula future price equals to spot price plus carrying cost minus returns in the sense dividends. Future price is equals to spot price plus carrying cost minus returns. Now let us understand this with an example. So in this example you can see the price of ACC stock on 31st December say 2010 was 220 and the future price on the same stock on the same date, that is 31st December 2010, for March 2011 was 230. Any confusions? The price of ACC stock on 31st December 2010 was 220 and the future price on the same stock on the same date, that is 31st December 2010, for March was 230. Sorry. December. Other features of the contract and related information are like time to expiration 3 months, borrowing rate 15% per annum, annual dividend on the stock, that is returns 25% payable before 31st March 2011, and face value of the stock is 10 rupees. Now let us calculate the future price now. So we have the figures 220 and 230. One is the spot price and another is the future price. Time to expiration is 3 months, or you can call it as 1/4 year or 0.25 year, and borrowing rate is 15% per annum, and you can get the annual dividend on the stock as 25%, that should be payable before 31st March 2011, and face value of the stock is rupees 10. So based on the above information, the future price for ACC stock on 31st December 2010 should be 220 plus 220 into 0.15 into 0.25 minus 0.25 into 10. 10 is the face value, okay, and dividend is 25%. So that is 225.75. Thus, as per the cost of carry criteria, the future price is 225.75, which is less than the actual price of 230, that is spot price. So this would give rise to arbitrage opportunities, and consequently the two prices will tend to converge. Now let us see how the arbitrage works. He will buy the ACC stock at rupees 220 by borrowing the amount at 15% for a period of 3 months, and at the same time sell the March 2011 futures on ACC stock. He buys ACC stock at rupees 220 at the rate of 15%, that is the borrowing rate, for a period of 3 months, and at the same time he will sell the March 2011 futures on ACC stock. By 31st March 2011, he should wait for 3 months because it is a 3-month contract. He will receive the dividend of rupees 2.50 per share, because 25% is the dividend and 10 rupee is the face value. On the expiry date of 31st March, after the expiry of 3 months, he will deliver the ACC stock against the March future contract sales. Clear? So sale proceeds of March 2011 futures is 230. Dividend is 2.50. So that is the total amount, that is 232.50. Pays back the bank 220, that is a purchase price at spot rate, and cost of borrowing is 8.25, and that gives 228.25. Cost of borrowing is 15%, right? So the balance is A minus B, that gives 4.25. So the arbitrage earns 4.25 per share without involving any risk. So this is how the arbitrage works. Okay. I hope you understood these concepts well. Thank you so much.